Hi there, I'm Talal. I'm a UX designer, sports journalist, and a YouTuber. And I also happen to love video games. This is me with my PlayStation 4. And my all time favorite video game is The Last of Us, both Part 1 and Part 2. Please let me know in the comment box what is your all time favorite video game. And this is my character design for Ellie, who is the integral part of that game. Basically, I've been playing video games my entire life, but The Last of Us made me really think about games in terms of levels, characters, storytelling, design, development, and all the behind the scenes stuff. So that got me into game design. But I have to warn you here, I'm not a professional game designer or developer, but just like you, I have this insane passion and curiosity for all things video games. And because of this, I was invited to Developers Game Jam competition in Pakistan. And it was a huge deal for me because it was organized by these top guns, and so I took a lot of pride in it, and I also had this responsibility to deliver well there. So I created this keynote slash workshop which was called Think Like a Game Designer, which I will be sharing with you here today. This wasn't a death by theory type of keynote. As you will see, the style will be more of a workshop like. We will cover three important topics in this video: character design, game design, and storytelling. Now, before we start, if you're feeling imposter syndrome to learn about game design, then it is totally okay. We all start from zero. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. Just trust your passion for games as your guiding light. It won't betray you. And a small inspiration: before Batman became Batman, he had this fear of bats, right? And here you can see him embracing his fear. He is rising above his fear. So, yes, dear internet stranger, embrace your fear and rise above it. You have it in you to do this. Just trust your ability in learning new things. And then you got this. So, let's start with character design. To design video game characters, we need to know about shape psychology. You can design any character by using these three basic shapes. What are the meaning behind them? So, circle, the words associated with them are soft, unity, cute, power, and innocence. Circle offer a feeling of well-roundedness and completeness. Squares, the words associated with them are strong, stable, balanced, neutral. They create a sense of equality and conformity. Triangles, though, the words associated with them are sharp, movement, active, power again, and tension. Triangles can be stable or unstable. They have energy and power, and they suggest conflict or strength. So once you clarify your concepts around shape psychology, then it will become easier for you to identify and break down characters to their basic shape. Here are some examples. Please note that I'm not saying circle are good guys and triangle are always bad guys. In this example, the triangular guy has feature of power and tension. He might be a bad guy, but here the triangular guy is showing movement and sharpness. He may or may not be a bad guy. So the catch here is, try not to classify game characters into good or bad by looking at their shapes, but rather try to observe the personality and the psychology that is associated with their shapes. I learned this the hard way, but I hope you don't make the same mistake. Here are some more examples. I think you have gotten the concept now. So, if you really want to dive deep and study more on shape language and psychology, then this article by Dreamform Studios is perfect. I learned so much from it. I'll put the link in the bio here. Okay, now we have a task. Like I promised, we will have tasks in this video. So please take a page and use your imagination to draw a circular shaped character and a triangular shaped character. You have total of 3 minutes to do both. And you can pause the video now and just roughly sketch something. Oh, and this is optional. You can give your characters some superpower too. Alright, now let me show you what I draw. Now let's get into game design principles. Honestly, there are so many, and YouTube has great videos on them. The truth is, the more you play games with the incentive of understanding them, the more you will recognize some of the best game design patterns. Here, I will try to tell you three of my top ones, and I will reverse engineer them. First is, don't start too big. Remember this rule: ask, avoid starting kingdoms. It's okay to have a grand vision, but it's not okay to design all those elements all at once because it will cage you in not pivoting and it gets way too difficult to synchronize all the elements together. So, what you can do is start with the fundamental or most essential gameplay, test it, fix it, improve it, and then build layers on top of your fundamental gameplay. This will make the whole process more fun and rewarding for you. And remember, game design career should not be taken as a corporate boring job career. You need to have fun all the time. Just, ace your fundamental gameplay and then on top of it you can add toppings like in a pizza. Okay, so the second principle is don't forget to onboard the player. How many times we have skipped games when we see so much information appearing on our first go at the game? This adds so much cognitive load. And it's not the player fault that they cannot understand what's going on. It's the designer's fault for adding too much information without onboarding the players. So you need to have a built-in onboarding process. Now you can do it very certainly like in Last of Us or in Metal Gear where they freeze the screen when you have to jump or attack for the first time and then they guide you with what button to press. But I'm assuming you will start from a basic game. So this example will be best for you. Plants vs Zombies. Plants vs Zombies have the best onboarding tutorial. It literally gives you instructions as to what to do and gets your confidence up to play the game. I would strongly encourage you to download this game just to observe how they do onboarding. And last is don't create an overly rigid design. If your game design is too rigid like this, then it will get boring. You are dictating how the game is being played. There's no fun to it. Rather, what you can do is you can add open world environments. You can provide secondary or multiple pathways to reach the end goal. You can use real world physics or make your own physics. You can have destructible environment. I mean, create an experience, but don't cage or control the experience like here. Here you are just caging or controlling the experience. But here, let the player play. Broforce is a good example for you to take notice here. Okay, so let's just summarize the concepts of game design. Avoid starting kingdoms, onboard your players, and create the experience, but don't control it. Now let's get into storytelling, and this is my favorite part. A good story is made up of right amount of tension and flow state. So if we draw time on x-axis and tension on y-axis, then if the tension is low throughout the game, then that game will become boring. Conversely, if the tension is too high throughout the game, then that game will become too tense to play, too difficult to play. What we want is gradual tension that progresses as the game goes from start to finish. That will give us the right amount. Talk about flow state. On x-axis, we have player skill ranging from noob to pro, and the challenge, the difficulty of that challenge from high to low. Now, if the challenge remains low but player skill improves, then that game will become boring. Similarly, if the challenge remains high but the player's skill is not that high, then that game will become too anxious to play. Again, what we want is gradual increase of difficulty of challenge as the player's skills improves throughout that game. Guys, in the end I will leave you with a course. So there are lots of amazing courses on game design on Coursera, but the one that I really love is this one. It's called Game Design and Development with Unity 2020. The link is in my video description. What I really love about this specialization is that all of its 4 courses end with a real game project. So you make 2D shooter, 2D platformer, 3D shooter, and 3D platformer. And also then there's a final big project. So I think this will be a really cool investment if you're really serious about, switching to game design or to game development. In the end, guys, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's called XY Talal, and you can see I post a lot of videos on design already there. So it will be really cool if you subscribe to my channel, and yeah, just let me show off for a bit more. Okay, let me know in the comment box what other types of videos you want me to make. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.